Invader, this is for the invader. Homie invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck am I going? Who the hell could I be? All this time I've been lost. Vessel trapped in the sea. Chains holding my legs. I just want to be free. Fist pick in my throat. Hell yeah, they know it. Heritage keep growing. You can see it in my phenotypes and that damn Indian showing. This knowledge keeping me steady. 45 on my hip and my armor, man, stay ready. I hit the streets in my Chevy. Blunt, burning, smoking heavy. Man, here you go, I got plenty. Prayers up for what's in it. In the land I lost many. Cause every nigga ain't feeling. And every man ain't milling. No D-bows but Stanley. No heroes for my family. Why the pigs killing us daily. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting homie invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting homie invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Where the fuck do you come from? Kidnapping our babies. 11 million abortions. Whole country is scorched. Baby stealing my portion. Bitch, give me my land back. We ain't signed no contracts. Why you wasting all of our trust funds? We don't know who your dad is, but we know who your kin. Take the food off of my plate. Eat that shit with my folk. You invader. Motherfucking invader. Invader. This is for the invader. Invader. Sitting homie invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting homie invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting homie invader. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting homie invader. Invader, this is for the invader. Invader, sitting homie invader. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Give them all praises. Give them all praises. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya.
Bismillah.
Young Chop on the beat.
First of all, shout out respect to Chairman Flair. Shout out respect to Lupe Fiasco. Shout out to Mr. West. Shout out to Rashid Lonnie Land. Shout out to Sashi Go Hard. Katie got banned. King Lou. LEP Brokers. Whole Chicago moment. Real recognize real. Check it. White supremacy is what I don't like. Sugar ass crackers what I don't like. The Bank of America I don't like. When they lynching cynicism, man, I don't like. I don't like. The way they ghetto living, man, I don't like. Got it strapped up in the system, man, I don't like. Ain't too different from a prison jacket, ain't ain't right. Ain't no friend air, pure despair. Hungry hands only take when they reaching out. Campaign slogan, geek up, dumb down. Ugly politicians, new election year. Crime about they care, they are not sincere. It's the greedy and the rich ones that make war, that the hungry young and poor ones pay for. The little homie stretched out in the coffin. They dying younger and they dying more often. The rent too high, the wage too low. Them top 5 stupid songs up on your radio tonight. I don't like. All this cackling and carrying on, I don't like. All this succulence and scared shit, I don't like. All these African Americans, that ain't right. And that goes to crazy ass crackers, small plain court clowns and strip club rappers. Out in broad day with their nipples out, with they stretch marks, back heads and pimples out. Yuck, you suck. Go away. You're always talking and you never got much to say. Yuck, you suck. Go away. You always cry in space. Fix your thirsty face. Now, I don't like. The way these jokers look and sound, I don't like. The way I see them getting down, I don't like. Make you wonder how they get around, it ain't right. In the land where crooks get to write the laws, but people hide their eyes and show they charge. Who the realest? Never mind. Who the winner for the best arranged lives? What they wearing? Who is there? Ask yourself, why you care? Somebody going ham on a gossip site, catching feelings over rumors that are not your life. I don't like. Sometimes I even hate, but not the people. They act the ways. I don't like. Sometimes I even hate. Lord forgive. Let us pray for pussy poses, dummy greed, polluted seeds, them wacky weeds, Nazi police, wasted time. Sean B recruitment, legal crime. I don't like. Jimmy baby. You don't like a nigga. You said. We built, forgive, and pray for these fake niggas.
Yeah, rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, they go with them townhomes. What's a native to a native? Eat $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. Yeah, God's children. Give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God and Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turned on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. Tell you wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. You stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master, who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured. About how we should wait on God is never our vernacular. They get paid and praised by the dollar long as they keeping us stagnant. And niggas think they woke, huh? Like you could change a whole world through a vote, huh? Like slave masters willing to let their slave go, huh? That slave master was probably your kinfolk, huh? History in reverse, a black king strategy. When blacks were your majesty, they always hide your pyramids but point to where the castles be. Aristocracies with your last name patent accurately. Yeah. And I ain't even tell half the shit. Like, I ain't even tell a quarter of the shit.
I gotta run that back, y'all.
I'm just getting started.
That shit hard.
Y'all niggas rap about busting guns and all this weird shit. I'm trying to get my people back, nigga. Yeah, rhyme so dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go of them townhomes. What's a native to a native? Eat $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. Yeah. God's children, give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God of Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turn on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to somethings. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. Tell you wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. You stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master, who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured. About how we should wait on God is never our vernacular. They get paid and praised by the dollar long as they keeping us stagnant. And niggas think they woke, huh? Like you could change a whole world through a vote, huh? Like slave masters willing to let their slave go, huh? That slave master was probably your kinfolk, huh? History in reverse, a black king strategy. When blacks were your majesty, they always hide your pyramids but point to where the castles be. Aristocracies with your last name patent accurately. Yeah. And I ain't even tell half the shit. Like, I ain't even tell a quarter of the shit. I'm just getting started. Y'all niggas rap about busting guns and all this weird shit.
Peace to God.
I'm trying to get my people back, nigga.
That's a motherfucking fact. Peace to gods, peace to goddesses, peace to the Aborigines, North, South, Central, as well as a conjoining island. You already know how we do. It's the brother A1, aka Atanchis One, aka Hano Kiel, and this is American Godz 2.0. So I'm just gonna be going over a few things. I don't know how long I'm gonna rock out, but we're gonna rock out as long as we can. And let me make sure I'm being heard. All right. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Let me get a 1 if I'm good. right, so yeah, peace to the gods, man. All right, so I've been doing this American God series, and it's pretty much based on the science and the technology that's not credited to the ancestors of the Atanchans or Aboriginals or Amaru or Atlanteans, right? Or Indians, right? It's never. Well, matter of fact, it is accredited to Atlantis, but they make Atlantis like some type of myth and shit to where that don't, because enough people have made had put that propaganda, put that word out there, and made and like plays into the minds of the people, just like the word conspiracy theory and how that plays into the minds of the people. But just by you hearing something, or that you hearing that alone, that's some type of MK Ultra. That's some type of predictive, mind control, that allows you not to even listen to it. Once they put the word conspiracy theory in front of something, that's it. You won't even read it. People like I would read it, and I know most of you guys will read it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always the mystery. Our history is the mystery. The shit that we had to go back and put ourselves through hours and hours of researching just to make connections, because I don't believe no one book or one piece of literature. I may use it for reference, but if it's being examined in its entirety, I'm always use three sources. So peace to the gods, man. So let's get into it, man. So that, pretty much just for why it's titled American Gods. It's because of science of the gods, man. And I'm putting emphasis on it. Prior to understanding the science of the gods, we thought we was primitive people, thought we was hunter gatherers, and all of the negative connotations that they put on our people, or the people who responsible for the technology that the world is using today. That's a fucking fact. They wouldn't have no need for them resources that the Africans don't know what to do with, right? If they wasn't trying to use them to modify or update the inventions that we already made and give it a more sustainable use, right? And make the life of it, the lifeline last a little longer, right? All right, so now we know why we titled it American Gods. So, let's get into a few things. Everybody hit that like button, share the build out, and if you like to donate, you already know where it's at. So let's get into it. And some of this stuff is kind of repetitive. It's some things I've done over the years. The individual observations towards the science and the technology and the architecture that we find in the Americas. And we don't find this nowhere. We find similarities or renditions of what the original one was. Hold on, let me see what's going on. All right, let me go ahead. All right, well, look, I'm just touching on this right here, right? Since I got it open, right? I'm gonna be going further into it on American Gods Part 3, right? And I will have multiple sources to kind of like cross-reference it, because in some different articles it gives you a different understanding to what else they found down there that some people or some of these articles don't cover in its entirety. Right. So this is LiDAR. These are the structures they found. They found Guatemala, right? 60,000 new Mayan structures, right? This is an image of what it looks like through LiDAR. LiDAR is like some type of solar penetrating where it can penetrate the actual canopy of the forest, the leaves and all that shit, the interior. And it can kind of look through that and picture out structures, right? And this is just one image. The other source I got, it shows it a little better. Because I know this pyramid is sticking out the top of it. That's how they found it. Because the pyramid is sticking out the top of it, right? So these are just some of the hold up. All right, right here. I ain't gonna get all into that right there, right? So I'm gonna get all up into that. American Gods Part 3, right? So this is just a brief understanding to what they were saying about this actual structure and this actual, they said an empire, according to them, because it varies according to where you're getting the source from or whatever. Let's say 1000 BCE through 1500 CE, right? So let's say the first archaeologists who arrived at Tikal during the late 19th century had to trek 7 days through a steamy jungle in order to reach the long lost city. So this motherfucker decided to, because you gotta take a boat to get in there, right? You gotta take a boat. So he decided to go in the fucking jungle for 7 days, man. Kudos to him, man. I gotta get it. I definitely gotta give him an applause, because that's like some Bear Grylls 3.0. Like, I mean, like for real, 7 days in a Guatemalan jungle. Hell knows what the fuck is in there. Hell knows what you make. Anything is a possibility. I would love to see what actually encounters of insects and other animals that he encountered in them 7 days that he was there. Right. So it's a Tikal. It's saying most of Tikal major buildings has been excavated, including structures such as the Plaza of Seven Temples and the Plaza of Central Acropolis and the Lost World Complex. That's saying, however, many other temples, buildings, and roads are still hidden. Now, this is just in one area of the Americas, right? Now, like I said, right, you haven't found nothing like this in Africa. Nothing. And I'm not trying to like real talk. My thing is, listen, let the Africans are the Africans. We are who we are. But in a compare and contrasting view, right? Because we compare and contrasting to what these people saying that they are responsible for. They're not responsible. None of these people are responsible for none of this shit. We the people who made all of this shit. All of this shit came from the Americas. Everything, all of the sciences, the first broom, as little as inventions as that may sound, that's something that makes life a lot easier, right? But here it go, they found 60,000 structures, and hell knows what they have found up to date now. They probably found more stuff. Not just in Guatemala, but through the canopies of some of them other jungles within Central and South America. Right? So, little brief, understanding of that, right? So, these are the pyramids, right? So, pyramids underwater off the coast of Cuba, maybe Atlantis, according to what they saying, right? Now, look at the date on this, right? Now it's saying pyramid discovered underwater off the coast of Cuba might be Atlantis. The remains of what may be a 6,000 year old city emerged in deep waters off the west coast of Cuba, was discovered by a team of Canadian and Cuban researchers. All right. So this is what they got. This is the image of it, the sinking city in Cuba, right? Which, by the way, one of these roads connect to Highway 66 off the coast. It's like how do you want to say? It's parallel to where Highway 66 would be, because it's right there off of Cuba. Cuba is right there by. You could swim to Cuba from Florida. A good swimmer could, at least. I don't know about the sharks these days, but people have tried that, right? So, matter of fact, we got the map right here. All right, so these of course are the engineers and the science, and they use sonar videotape device, a sonar videotape device to kind of come up with this image right here that we looking at. All right, so it's saying some structures within a complex may be as long as 400 meters wide and as high as 40 meters. He said some are sitting on top of each other. It's saying they show very distinctive shapes and symmetrical designs of a non-natural kind. We've shown them to scientists in Cuba, the US, and elsewhere, and nobody suggests that they are natural. Now, come on now. Now that's the flim flam. This look like do this not look like a natural structure? And these are pyramids. These are not like these are something like this, right? Something like that. See, because you can see the shapes of them. They ain't shaped like step pyramids. And they saying these pyramids are 6,000 years old. Right? According to the article, say what? The remains of what may be 6,000-year-old cities emerged in deep waters off the coast of Cuba. Right? So these, like I said, when we talk about American gods, we talk about the science and the architecture and what we could do, because they always show you what you can't do. They always show you a TP. They always show you somebody running around. And I'm not saying none of that stuff is bad. I'm not saying none of that stuff is bad. But when you researching this and you under the observation and you're observing, you're reading literature, you're hearing other scientists on how their perspective and their opinion on what they may think, because we're not out there. We right here. I'm reading this shit in the house with the air conditioner on. You understand? We're not out there. So we have to go by what some of the experts say. And then we also have to have discernment to know when some of the experts are full of shit. Okay? We have to have discernment when it comes to that too. We have, because this story might not be entirely true, but there are some truth to it. Right? So to go along with the 60,000 structures that they found in Guatemala, this is a 6,000-year-old pyramid that been submerged for that. Well, I don't know. They say 2,500 years. They said that's how long it been submerged. But this is a aerial view from where it's at right here. Now look. Now you see how that go right there? And then these are other islands and shit. I can't zoom in on it. I ain't even going to try to click on it. But this is just what it looks like from an aerial view of where it would sit at. All right. So let me see something. All right. So it said the sonar image he added bear a remarkable resemblance to the pyramidal design of the Mayans and the Aztec temples in Mexico. All right. Let me see. And look, this is what he said. How old? He said if they are as old as they suspect, he say that they would have been built long before the wheel was invented in Samaria, 3500 BC, or the sundial in Egypt, 3000 BC, and three pyramids in Egypt on the Giza Plateau are thought to have been constructed between 2900 and 2200 BC. All right. So they saying that this shit is older than all of that, right? They saying that this is older than all of that, right? But check this out, right? We got something right here that's older than that. I think it's this one. Let me see. All right, it's this one. All right, man, hit that like button. Let me see what's going on. I don't even be stressing the like button, but just hit the like button if anything. Hit the like button, share the video out. And let me see if you like to donate. All right, so let's get back into it. All right, so this is an article. Let me go back to the top. Let you know it's a science article. This is published 2015, January 21st. And this is an article from Science Daily. And it reads as followed. Oh, let me scroll it back up. It's saying new evidence put man in North America 50,000 years ago. All right. So according to them, once again, we just doing an observation. We're right now they're suggesting information to us, but some of this information is right on point, right? So November 18th, 2004, University of South Carolina, and the summary is the radiocarbon test and carbonized plants remains were artifacts from unearthing last May along the Savannah River in Allendale County by the University of South Carolina archaeologist Dr. Albert Goodyear indicates that the sediments containing these artifacts are at least 50,000 years old, meaning that humans inhabited North America long before the last ice age. All right, so this is according to them. This is 91, right? So let me see something real quick. Now, look, this is according to eugenics, right? Just something that just take into consideration, right? All right, so look, according to the eugenics, right, and the pseudoscience, right? Now, this is also pseudoscience because archaeology came from pseudoscience, such as Mendel, such as who else was an archaeologist? Charles Darwin, not Charles Darwin, his cousin. Oh my God. I'm gonna get into it in a minute. I'm gonna remember it in a minute. But for the meantime, look, it say the dawn of modern Homo sapiens occurred in Africa between 60,000 and 80,000 years ago. Evidence of modern man migration out of African continent has been documented in Australia and Central Asia at 50,000 years, and in Europe at 40,000 years. And the fact that humans could have been in North America at or near the same time is expected to spark debates among archaeologists worldwide, raising new questions on the origins and migrations of the human species, right? So I say the topper is the oldest radiocarbon dated site in North America. Goodyear said, however, Other early sites in Brazil and Chile, as well as the site in Oklahoma, also suggest that humans were in the Western Hemisphere as early as 30,000 years. Okay, so it goes down a little bit. Fuck it, might as well read a little bit more. All right, so it says 30,000 years to perhaps 60,000 years. Right now, I know humans been longer than that. Right, according to my own personal research. But this is just what the experts are saying. Now he's saying 60. So we don't really need to even go further with that. We can just add that to what we already know. And this is once again, it's from Science Daily, published January 21st, 2015. I can't put the link because this shit is in my hard drive. Only way I'll be able to send this out, I'll probably email. If you guys can't find it, you should be able to find this. This shouldn't be hard to find. All right, so let me see something real quick. All right, so this is another site right here. Something I looked over a couple years back. All right, so archaeologists has found prehistoric rock structure under the Great Lakes. It's saying here's what the stones can tell us, right? And this is from 2021. They got older articles. I don't know why I settled for this one. I could have got an older one because the older the article is, the more stuff that you can pretty much cross reference with the newer article to see what the new studies excluded. But then, like I said, a lot of the archaeology work is all done the same. If you have to throw some of the stuff out, then you have to throw it all out because it's all formatted under one particular, like their guidelines are formulated. Their guidelines are strict. So it's like who's to see or see the age on this particular artifact, right? They might say, all right, well, we're going to change the science. So what about the science that you was using prior to that? So like I said, even though that they putting timelines on this, I'm just putting it out there. We don't know what time they even going off of because we don't know our original time or our original calendar or how we measured time or how we was able to entrap time and use it for our benefit. So I'm just want to put that out there as well, right? So this is just an article. Let's run through a little bit of it. So it's saying 2007, underwater archaeologist Mark Hawley was scanning for shipwrecks at the bottom of Lake Michigan, Grand Traverse Bay. Instead, he stumbled on a line of stones thought to be constructed by ancient humans, including one stone with what appeared to be a carving of a mastodon. Right, so it's saying one of the stones got a carving of a mastodon on it. Right, it's saying a subsequent press conference generated excited headlines about a Stonehenge-like structure found in Lake Michigan. Now I don't know how many of you guys heard about this though, but this is, like I said, this is something dealing with the gods. We don't know what they was using that for, right? But just know that anything that these people are amazed by, we should be like, yeah, we did, yeah. We're Tanchans, so we had to have something to do with that. You know what I'm saying? All right, so somebody, one of our ancestors had something to do with it. And they ain't from Africa. Niggas can go back 4,000 years in Africa. Shit, we can go back. We could do the same goddamn thing here, right? It said, but these sensationalized headlines are misleading. Now, here we go with the bullshit. He said, there are no hinge to the structure. It's saying the stones are small and arranged in a V shape instead of a circle. It's saying plus supposed mastodon image hasn't been analyzed to prove whether it's a carving or a natural feature of a rock. But however it go, so he's saying it hasn't been proved, but it's a fucking mastodon carving on a fucking rock. It doesn't really even matter at that point in time. You see what I'm saying? So it says the real underwater stone sensation lies 120 feet below neighboring Lake Huron, an area the size of a football field with dozens of 9,000-year-old artifacts of human-built stone structures that compare to the most complex prehistoric hunting structure ever found beneath the Great Lakes. All right, so let me see, is there anything else? All right, so this is I guess this will be like a diagram or where exactly it's at. I mean, I can't really make this shit out because this shit look weird. Let me see if it's something type of shirt saying those exposed shorelines were productive, full of wildlife, plants, and that attracted hungry humans. Early hunting communities likely targeted migrating carboa, in particular, a species that adapted to cold climate and was very predictable according to old shit. Let me see something. No, that's not relevant at all to what the fuck we talking about. The thing of the matter is this right here, that he's saying this should go back 9,000 years. The real underwater stone sensation lies 120 feet below neighboring Lake Huron, an area the size of a football field with dozen 9,000-year-old artifacts and human-built stone structures that comprise to the most complex prehistoric hunting structure ever found beneath the Great Lakes. Okay, go figure that. Along with the fact that they said it was a Stonehenge. You know what I'm saying? Along with that fact. So all right, so let's go ahead right here. All right, so this is an article labeled Secrets About Tennessee Ancient Egyptian Temple Revealed. Now, don't let the Egyptian part of it freak you out. Let me see something. Let me make sure we good. Make sure we good. Press 1 for me if y'all still can hear me. You. Mic check. Press 1 for me if you guys can hear me. Press 2 for me if you can. All right, so we still good. All right, so to move along to this article right here, right? So like I said, if I was doing this in depth, I have at least 3 articles of each. But since I'm just running through some shit, you know, just some extra curriculum, research that was out there already. Something that may be of use or be of interest to some of you guys or you gals in the chat. The piece of the goddesses again, right? So the secrets about the Tennessee ancient Egyptian temple revealed. Now, once again, these is coming from these feeble-minded people. And a lot of times, like I said, it's a remix single because when they finding stuff over here that I don't even know if the stuff in Egypt is even real. Let's be for real about that shit. All of the stuff that they finding over there in Egypt, I don't even know if they even finding it over there. They may be finding it over here. They say they finding it over here, but then every time they find something that look like something that they got over there, they say, "Oh, the Egyptians had to come in." Now I'm gonna show you the migration or his perspective or their opinion of how the Egyptians migrated, right? And you're going to see the same pattern of like the Mayans or the Olmec. the same pattern in which we talk about today, right? So let me see something. All right, so let's go down right here. All right, so Dr. Greg Little, right? So the background of the Tennessee ancient Egyptian temple is no great secret, but it appears to remain enigmatic, I'm sorry, to many who are interested in alternative archaeology, as well as proof to others, proof to other ancient Americans was visited in ancient times by people in the Middle East. Now look, here go, we got a reversal story to what we already talking about. We already saying we went from over there, and we have the evidence to suggest we did go from over there. And if I go long enough, I'll show you some shit or whatever that could definitely connect us and tell you that we went from here to there, right? So now when they see something, because they under the aspects that I'm just thinking to myself, right? If I'm an archaeologist and I find something that doesn't supposed to be on another continent, and this on a continent of another continent that's kind of far from here, right? That's very far from here. You think some Egyptians going to come over here and have influence over the great Atanchans and just come over here and say, you know what, we going this is the myth, this is the story, this is the goal of what they telling you why they took over the land. Everybody just came to America, just did what they wanted to do. Or you could have, man, that's not true. Like I said, do you want me to pull out the Great Law of Peace and no foreigner can own the land? So we just wasn't giving no lands out. And like I said, most of the time when you see they talking about Egyptian, it's not even Egyptian, it's actually Mayan, or it's probably actually Olmec. But anyway, let's continue, right? They say, I do believe that ancient American was populated by an astonishing blend of people migrating from many parts of the world over many thousands of years. And it's possible that some ancient Egyptians made it to America. I'm sure archaeologists will scoff at that idea, but all I'm saying is that it is possible. But the assertion that this particular site was Egyptian is a long stretch. Now that's what he's saying, and I know it's a long stretch, right? Now look, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like, right? I mean, look, this might be my not a coincidence moment, because he showed some shit like this before, and I kind of rejected it because I'm like, what the fuck is that? But according to the archaeologists, they saying that this somehow connected. So, we got to go off of that. However, all scrutiny is good. You can believe what you want to believe. At this point in time, a lot of this shit, like I said, this information is just being suggested by me. These people is not putting all of this in the histories of America, and they're not giving this back to our people, period. They're not even giving our people back the science, and at least giving you an understanding and ideas that like, your people wasn't running around here. And I'm not saying everybody, but even the people who had families, they had business all day, every day, man. Do you know what it takes to keep upkeep? You have a house, you have a water system, you have a food supply, you have other food supply. Then you also have to probably put certain material in production, like wood, whatever whatever else inventions that you come out of, like the materials of the earth, right? So you'll have to have, like, our people was that advanced to where we had all that. Because if we had markets where we were selling everything, Like you look up when we going through Tenochtitlan, they were selling everything in Tenochtitlan. They were selling towel in Tenochtitlan. Towel, like towel you sell right now, like today. Towel, wood planks, other type of like equipment or working tools, you know what I'm saying? Like all types of shit, man. And you know what? And I should have pulled Tia Notes and land up, but I do it. I do it for American Gods Part 3, like, and really go and entirely into it, like with that and Cahokia, and show you like these are marketplaces. These are like um fucking a Home Depot or Lowe's or Super Walmart. This is how we was giving it up. This is how we was doing it. You know what I'm saying? We had super Walmarts. And like I said, in inland, we had like the little moms and pop type setup or whatever. Like we had that more inland, like, you know what I'm saying, among the communities. You know what I'm saying? And not even selling it, because if you're part of a system, everybody eats. Everybody eats. Everybody has their responsibility. And I don't know whether or not they had to do that for a lifetime, but I do know that that's how the upkeep and the maintenance for us to live the way we was living had to be done. We had to have some type of system, right? So all right, so let me see something. Hold up. All right, so let me see something. All right, boom. So all right, so it's a British curator, J. Rendell Harris, was a respected biblical scholar and was 82 years old when he saw the newspaper photo. He is very impressed by the photo. He saw the newspaper article describing a site that has been excavated in Tennessee, right? In 1935, he published a brief article about it entitled "A Temple in Tennessee" as part of an essay he routinely issued. Much earlier in his life, whatever, he's saying he was convinced about the Egyptians visit America well before Columbus. Nah, money grip. We went over there. And this is the thing, like, there's no literature besides maybe there's a few, I say maybe about 5 or 6 solid sources that I came up with that suggested that we went from over there and went over there. And we saying solid sources, not just some sources that just some, oh, this person said that. No, because they're connecting the instead of people like what this gentleman doing in his article, right? You have other people that say, nah, this shit right here in America older. You have a lot of people that has made these suggestions and say that America is the cradle of civilization. Now, like I said, they don't teach this, and you can't go to no university in America and hear this. No university in America will teach you this. There's always going to be something suggested that somebody came here and visited here and left all this, had time to build a fucking temple and do all of this shit and go through the caves of what's the name, go, you know, and bring all these artifacts. Come on, man, let's stop playing here, man. Like they just came here on a tour and just went like they on vape. Nah, money grip, nah, that shit was already here, right? So all right, so according to what he's saying, he speculated that Egyptian traders, they go to traders, look, they're saying took copper from the Americas back to the Mediterranean. Look, and that they established a large colony in East Tennessee, right? Do we have other sources that suggest anything in it? It don't have to say directly in Tennessee, but just in other places in America, of people that's coming from the East over here and setting up shop. No, we was the ones that set that shop up and went over there and done it. And this is what all of the scholars, this is the whole reason for American Gods. American Gods is to get y'all back y'all science. At least somebody has to do this shit. You know, at least somebody has to show you exactly what we was responsible for, what kind of civilizations we had in America, because there ain't nobody else doing that. There's a couple of books, there's a couple of scholars who touch base on this, but ultimately this is something that's not mainly this is not a main talking point, even among any education, because the people who create the education, they put in what the fuck they want to put in. That's why we over here doing this shit right here. That's what I'm here for. That's exactly what I'm here for, right? So he's saying the excavation of a building structure under a mound in Tennessee, and the photo from the excavation was enough to convince him he was right. Now they finding more evidence that's saying that these people, some Egyptians came here from where? Let's see what they were saying again. It's saying he also speculated that the Egyptian traders took copper. They took copper from the America. How would they know America? I mean, America has copper. They just came over and said, you know what? Let's just take a trip all the way through the Mediterranean, across the Atlantic Ocean. Now think of it like this, right? If you coming across the Mediterranean, through the Mediterranean, right? We pull up where Egypt is at. Egypt is East Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's not far from this, like lined up with the Mediterranean. But at the end of the day, you think people actually left all the way from there, right? Once they and then along the coastlines, they have to have some type of like areas to where they can stop, replenish, and then keep it moving. Once you hit the Atlantic Ocean, there's nothing else out there. And then you come into a land where you don't know nobody. So how you living? These people would have died on the ship. They would have died. It's no way. You know how far Tennessee is? Like inland in America. So it's like, come on, man. Like all of this stuff that they have been hiding, we already done showed and proved and showed that this shit was already here. The shit was already here. The science already here. Why would we invent the science here and then the science goes somewhere else and then these people create something there and then come back? No. Right. So he's saying much earlier in his life, he was convinced that the Egyptians visited America well before Columbus. Right. He thought that they initially visit. Now listen to the route that he claimed. Right. He thought that they initially visit the Bahamas, and eventually moved into the Gulf of Mexico up the Mississippi. Come on now. Like all of this shit. He's telling a story in reverse, but he can't even, it's not really even in reverse because Bermuda, Bahama, Brazil, all of that shit out there, all of that shit out there, all had the same, like the same type of fort or where boats or ships could pull up on because we was trading all through the Americas. So even like I said, like all of this shit kind of like, is in the kind of like in the same area because I just was talking about the pyramid that was underwater right there in Cuba, right? And like and they're suggesting that these people they ain't say they was Egyptians. They said that they was either Mayan or Olmec, right? But think of it like this, right? So he believed that Egyptians came here before Columbus. He initially believed that they visited Bermuda and went through the Gulf of Mexico up into the Mississippi region. He also speculated that the Egyptian traders took copper, right? They're saying they excavated a building structure under a mound in Tennessee, and the photos from the excavation convinced them that he was correct. All right, so let me see something else right here. All right, so when they talking, let me see. Hold up. It's saying when the photo was published, Harris saw what looked like a standing stones from the perimeter and of a square building. It has been excavated from under what is assumed to be the Hopewell era mound, but it's more likely it was Mississippian. Now listen to now how it flips, right? It flips right now. Look, Mississippi, people say the Mississippi's the now. You know what I'm saying? Like even when you get in all of this, the metaphysical stuff when it pertains to the America, right? But look, once again, right? He said it has been excavated from under what is assumed to be the Hopewell era mound, but it's more likely it was Mississippian. There was two large standing stones next to each other. Harris interpreted as pylons, which was a common feature in Egyptian temples, right? They're saying that in essence is the story of how Tennessee Egyptian temples came to be over time. It has been embellished, altered, and made increasingly mysterious. But it's nothing mysterious about the shit they finding over here. They just incorrect about everything because they're trying to make everything seem like it came from over there and America was so primitive. But that's not what we find. We don't find that. We have evidence that America was highly technology. We had cities, we had towns thousands and thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago. Not no 400 years ago or some shit when some European came over here. No, we've been had all of this years ago. Years ago. You understand? Years ago. Now you always see copper something that's very like that's a precious metal, if you will, right? That's a precious metal that they always talk about. Copper. When I went down, I had to go down to the court building last week to go file some papers, right? And when I went down there, I just was looking at every time I go down there, I see something different about the building. And I just was looking at it like where you enter, they got these probably like 12 feet doors. And they got like the circle, like the doorknob is in a circle. And the shit it's all copper because it's green. You can look at it and tell it's copper, right? It's open, it don't look nothing. They try to repair or you know what I'm saying, or build a new interest and shit and put like some gold type shit on, but it don't look nothing like that. And that shit probably tarnished and they probably clean that shit. That shit probably all copper, like what we talking about, what these people was talking about, right? But I just wanna let me go back to this one more time. All right, so look, the crucial thing of this, right, was let me see something. Was the fact that whatever was found, they're saying that it was a Mississippian culture. And they saying that it's movement like we see through the Gulf of Mexico, through like, you know, through the Caribbean, and through like it was like that would be like, I don't want to say the triangle trade. I don't want to entirely say the triangle trade. Well, then again, it might be the triangle trade. It might be the triangle trade because I know it comes down from Canada. Anything that's coming from the east is come through the Pillars of Hercules or the Mediterranean, and anything coming from there coming right across to Canada. It's not coming always slanted against them rough waters or going against the current. No, it's coming right from the Mediterranean, and that probably would be where the shit flows because this is where they saying where Atlantis, the Empire of Atlantis was at, right? But this probably would be like once you get through the Pillars of Hercules, the water probably push you right to America. Reverse that other current that they keep telling you where they people came right from West Africa straight to the fucking Caribbean. Are you out of your mind? You will die. There's no way. We see them big shippers that they can't do that. The metal big ass tankers can't even make it like that. All right, so let me see. I have some notes up here. Oh, I wanted to give my man a shout out on his book too. My bad. Hold up. Now hold up. All right, so boom. Well, I like this book because he give references, and it's called. Matter of fact, hold on 1 second. Let me go grab some water real quick. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. I don't know why I feel like I've been going longer than an hour, but it is what it is. We can continue. All right, so let me see. Well, oh, so this is called the megalith, the Black Builders of Stonehenge, right? So let me see something real quick. I'm just going to read a little bit of this real quick. I'm going to go down to the bottom because this is not actually the page that I was looking for, but we can get into this part right here, right? Let me see something real quick. All right, so boom, I'm going to start right here. Fuck it. Let me blow it up a little bit. Matter of fact, hold up. Let me make sure you guys can hear me before I even go back into this. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Press 1 for me. If you guys can hear me, press 2 for me if you can't. All right, so we good. All right, okay. So, all right, so right here, starting from highlighted. All right, so it say the mysterious mound builders of North America was related to the Olmecs, although many scholars claim they was an obscure race, or at best claim they were Native Americans. So-called mound builders predated the Mongoloid Indians in America. Mound builders is an architectural term given to the prehistoric people who built mounds and fortifications in areas of the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico and Florida and the Allegheny and the Appalachian Mountain to the areas west of the Mississippian Mountains. They were different stages of mound building culture that no the tentative dates of the various cultures are. They give an example right here. I don't know why the fuck I'm trying to blow this shit up, man. Let me open it up a little bit. Oh, give me 1 second. This shit just froze up a little bit. All right, so there. Matter of fact, that shit too big. Let me see. Man, that shit too goddamn big. God damn. All right, let me try this. Let me try it back like this. All right, so the Dana site is 500 BC to 200 AD. Then the Hopewell culture, 100 BC to 350 AD. Right. So I'm gonna go back to the top right here. All right, so the Mississippian culture, Cahokia, 800, 1500 B, well, AD rather. It's saying also it must be noted that some of the so-called native Indians nations in the USA are black ones. All right, so then you get into the Washington saying nations made up of blacks who lived in the Mississippi Valley centuries before the arrival of European explorers. There are still in existence the Jamasi or Yamasi nation made up of black existed in southern eastern part of the United States. The black Californians must also be mentioned. They were indigenous black nations, right? So the other day somebody asked me about some of the tribes that was in the California area, right? And this will be on right here. I'm not going to read them out, but these are some of the tribes that was found in California right here. The Tolowa, the Yacht Rock, I heard of them before. The Hopi, the Yana, the Yaha. And like I said, some of this shit these might be Native American tribes today. So just keep that in mind too, right? Because you'll have to do real thorough research on California to really see what was the black tribes, or go out there and try to find somebody, a Negro who indigenous, who ain't never make no migration, who always been in California, and ask him what tribe of people his people came from. I would love that. Would be definitely a good something good to do. But shit, California, man, shit. But yeah, you will have to find and see what their story is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you can do research all day, but the research is tainted. You know, I don't know much about the California tribes, but here goes some of them right here. Right? So, you know, the Pumu, the Wampu, the Mawak. Let me see. The Serrano, look, Serrano, that sound like a fucking Mexican gang, right? The Serranos, right? But anywho, this is just some of the tribes that's listed in American Indian Encyclopedia, right? And these would be some of the other tribes that's out there in the plain area. And I'm not saying all in the plain area, because right here, all like right around this Texas, I believe this is Oklahoma up here. But then that's something, because even when you look at Oklahoma, or Oklahoma over here somewhere, I don't know. I believe this is Oklahoma. All right, so let's go back to the other article. All right, so let me see something. Let me go down. Hold on one second. I want to see if this pertaining to what we talking about. Been a minute. This book kind of like go over a lot of different stuff. Go over the mounds. Um, they go over the pyramids as well. It's definitely a good read. It's called The Megalith, Black Builders of Stonehenge. And he got a lot of science, a lot of history in this shit. It's definitely a good read. All right, so it said the blacks were the builders of the walled city of Cahokia, which is located in the Mississippi River Plain. The base is the biggest mound at Cahokia. Monk's Mound is the largest. No, it's larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. It said the remains of giants have been discovered in many mound building sites. Now, look, we talked about that before, and I'm quite sure if you didn't hear it from me, you heard from somebody else, right? They say the remains of giants. Now, when they say giants, they're not talking about no 15, 20-foot people. They talking about people who 7 feet tall, 7 to 8 feet tall. In most cases, it's around that. It's around there. I think I've read, that they have pulled people out that was about 7 feet tall, right? So they say around sites of the Ohio Valley area. They say, and there are many reports of giants in Indian traditions. Right now, go figure, right? We got actual giants walking around that we see. We see motherfuckers 7 feet tall. We see people around 6, 7. That's tall, because the average height is like, for a man, I think it's like 5'10", 5'11". No, I'm sorry. It might be like 5'9", 5'10", right? And for a woman, it'd be around like anywhere between 5'2" to 5'6", right? So, all right. So it says some accounts claim that the native Indians referred to the giants as snakes. Interesting, right? Now, you know what? Since we on this shit, let me see something real quick. All right, I just wanted to open that because I'm gonna use something from that going to the next little segment. All right. So let's go down. Now, all right, I'm gonna read a little bit of this right here, right? So, all right, say the Olmecs and No, the Olmecs of Mexico are said to be the mother civilization of America, right? We already know that, right? Um, the Mexican archaeologist Miguel Carabias has dated the Olmec civilization between 1500 BC and some people say 1000 BC. It's saying in that great period of development, at least 1000 to 500 BC. Now, listen, this is all speculation right here, right? This is all, according to what they saying. Like, we don't, like I said, when it comes to the timelines, these people can't come here and say exactly how long these people was living in this type of highly civilization. Like, they don't have no way to really measure that part. I think they just add that into it or whatever, because all right, even when you're dealing with archaeology, there would be a starting point of a culture. There would be a starting point and a culture would evolve, or the culture, as far as some of the structures in the living quarters, you don't know how old they are. However it go, right? So it's saying this makes the Olmecs sometimes called the Levanter people, the oldest known civilization in Middle America. The Olmecs, however, was likely not the first Americans, as the remains of dwarfs. Now, I've heard about small people or pygmies. Now they call them dwarfs, but we know them as pygmies, right? It's saying has been found. Now, he using the term black in this, but we know black is it's a derogatory term, but it's also a description, and it also has history among people of the Tanchans being classified these different social constructs, from colored, Negro, black. These are all social constructs as we already know it, right? But just for the sake that he's giving the reader an idea of who he's talking about, he using the term black, right? So it say blacks built many of the ancient pyramids in America. There are a number of similarities between the pyramids in Africa. Now, you already know it's not coming from Africa to America. It's coming from America to Africa, right? It's saying those and those in America, right? So that's just, a little observation of that, right? But let me see something else down here at the bottom. I wanted to read. All right. So this is from his perspective right here, right? This is from his perspective, right? Remember, American guys. So everything, any of this shit any of this shit is possible. I've seen giants, like I said. I've heard of stories of giants. I've heard of all of that shit. But like I said, a lot of times the giants that they talking about was no taller than 7 to 8 feet, right? So this is from his perspective. I don't agree with no one book entirely, okay? So according to just this material work that can be, this can be an introduction to someone who don't know about none of this shit. And then from there, if they are interested in doing the research, then their research will continue. You know what I'm saying? So it say, although blacks in America later mixed with Mongoloids. I don't agree with that. I agree with that to a certain point, according to how close they was living to Mongoloids, right? It's saying later Europeans, right? It say the truth of the matter is that blacks are aborigines of the Americas and dwelled there centuries before the arrival of the Mongoloid Indians across the Bering Strait. I don't agree with the Bering Strait, because we got these other stories of these people being brought over here, right? It's saying in fact, blacks was likely in America before the evolution of other races. Centuries old paintings of ships depicting the caves in the Sahara and similar to those used in Egypt and Nubia were likely used in Mendi to cross the. Now he's saying that these people came from Africa. We already know this is the whole narrative. To even the other people were suggesting this by saying that the Egyptians came here and built the temple in Tennessee. Even that they this is a suggestion. This is not factual. right? This is not factual, right? However it go, right? It said, although many scholars claim there was obscure race, it's saying, or at best claim there were native Indians. The mound builders of North America was related to the Olmecs. Blacks predominated the Mongoloid Indians in America. I agree with that in its entirety. All right. So nice little reading material right there. I definitely like the book because, like I said, it's an introduction, and I had that book for about at least about 6 years at this point in time, right? So let me see something real quick. What we doing in the chat room? All right, we got 174, man. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button, share the video out, and let's get some donations if possible, right? So American Gods Part 3 next week. I believe that is the 20th, right? Same time, around 7 o'clock. And like I said, we're gonna be going back in. We're gonna definitely go further with the science, right? So let's go to something else because it's only been on here for an hour. At least we try to do 2 or 3 hours, right? All right, so this is a book called Atlantis in America, right? And this is dealing with the pyramids and the megaliths. And he's saying that they're older than you think, right? Give me one second. I'm trying to see exactly where I want to be at. All right, so boom, right here, right? So in the early 19th century, William Neves and Scott geologists found evidence of a cataclysm tidal wave that had overwhelmed the Valley of Mexico on several occasions between 11,500 years ago and 5,000 years ago, investigating hundreds of sand and clay pits between Texcoco and Hilo Patala. Neves found indications of not only a vast cataclysm, a strata of strewn rocks, pebbles, sand, and boulders, but indications of an ancient ruin and prehistoric cities beneath them. Beneath the 9,500-year-old layer, Neves found thousands of stone houses filled with ashes and debris by the cemented together with a material harder than the stone itself. He also discovered hundreds of terracotta figures, one sitting cross-legged. Look, one sitting cross-legged. Go figure that, nigga. 9,000-year-old layer, which it might be older than that. We don't know, right? Look, but matter of fact, you know what? Look, check this out. Look, the Olmec figure. All right, so let me see something. Let me have that for you on deck. Let me see if I can find it. I think I got a picture of it. Now, you know what? I don't even want to go all through it, but I definitely got a picture of that, right? So get back into it, right? All right, so he's saying he found hundreds of terracotta figures, one sitting cross-legged, similar to the Olmec figure, and others that represented it in Neves' account. All the races of Southern Asia. Here we go. It's saying at this ancient level, Nieves also found thousands of carved stones that reveal pictographs that have never been fully deciphered. Okay. The key thing, what he said the stone was so hard. I mean, whatever material they used was harder than stone. Like we talking about he's saying 9,500 years, right? But that's something that's kind of interesting, right? That we get this story about the 11,000-year-old or 11,000-year-old cataclysm. Like, this is a story. I hear this a lot, but this is also pertaining Lemuria as well. For those individuals who agree with that, everybody might not agree with that. That's a whole nother story, right? All right, so it say today many of us today at the close of the 20th century, Nevis finds were not so astonishing, saying, but by established standards of early 20th century, they was declared out of context and impossible. What made it worse for Neves was the fact that he sent reports to his findings to James Churchward, right? It's saying who incorporated Neves' discoveries into his theory of the lost continent of Mu. Now, I don't agree with that because, like, one thing I've known from me reading all of them books, the ancient symbols, the children of Mu, and it's one more book. It's one more book. I can't think of it right now. Right. He actually used sources to kind of cross-reference, like a lot of the Mayan vocabulary. He kind of cross-referenced it with the vocabulary that was found on them islands, or what was left of what Lemuria once was. Because he said a lot of them people on them islands in the Pacific, in the Pacific, the South Pacific islands that we keep talking about, they said a lot of them people had relics for thousands of years ago that people went down there just to take pictures and just to get understanding into what was they looking at and what was it part of, right? But let's continue, right? All right, so it said Nevis showed him were identical to the Nazca tablets he had found in the monastery in Tibet. Although Nevis' credibility was never challenged by authorities, his obituary in the New York Times described him as a distinguished mineralogist, mineralogist who had discovered several new minerals, including clitriolite and triragon and nevetite. The associations of his finds with church words fanciful Mu brought Neves considerable work to easy ridicule by American archaeologists and authorities. Now, this is according to what they're saying today, right? But I'm trying to get into something else, and it led me into that. Sorry about that. All right, I think it was right here. Yeah, it is. All right, so it's saying this by no way means that agriculture did not exist earlier. Corn, always the preferred crop of America, may have been planted earlier. There are indications that deliberate cultivation existed 32,000 years ago in Brazil, but the findings of Gala do not indicate that agriculture knowledge that was virtually wiped out at the time of the deluge took very little time in finding its resettlement. Hold up. Let me see something. All right, boom. This is right here where I wanted to get at. All right, so right here, Kusu. This is what I was looking for. All right, so it said Kusu, the capital of the Inca Empire, contained 11,000. No, I'm sorry, 100,000 houses. Okay. Now I say Kusa, the capital of the Inca Empire, contained 100,000 houses, perhaps 500,000 people at the time when the Spanish arrived in 1533 AD. You know, I don't believe in the time. But anyway, let's continue. It's saying its narrow streets and high altitude, 11,500 feet above sea level, can still leave a novice visitor confused at the first encounter. It's an altitude sickness and a condition far more severe than the average tourist problem can severely limit the intent of any investigation, right? So they saying that at the time in Kusa, the capital of the Inca Empire, contained 100,000 houses, nigga. 100,000 houses. And they saying, look, they saying this was at the time when they got there. So how long do you think it took them to build it? How long you think it took them to build them? Now, when you get into the ancient like human remains that they found there. Oh, it's this one. When you look at the ancient human remains, right? Like the chinchilla mummies, which was found in that same region, right? So look, I actually got a build about them on my channel, so you could just cross-reference that with what I just read. And like I said, all of that shit is in the same area. All of it is like in the same area to where they found these so-called human remains, right? And this is what they look like. So as we can see, right? As we can see through observation, right? Them people in Peru had locks. The Mayans and the Olmecs also had locks. And we can see that from the Mendoza codexes. We can see that from the Boma Park murals. We can see that through these numerous codexes that they had locks. And this is in Peru right here. Look how long the locks is. I should have down to whoever feet that was, unless they were 7 feet. And this is found in that same area where we just talked about them 100,000 houses. Now, if they got 100,000 houses back then, 100,000 houses, or they had a capability to build something of enormous, you know what I'm saying, as that, right? What makes you think we didn't have that in America? We just went through some of the things that we actually found in North America, right? This is another one. Let me see. And this is, like I said, these are the human remains that they found close to that site, right? So let me see something. I'm going to show you what they said it looked like. This is what they said it looked like. This shit, and this shit is laid out like a street. I mean, like a city today, right? Look. This is called Kusa Celestial City. Now look at this. Now you see the entrance, like they got streets and everything. Look, like it's laid in blocks, like we see today. And we see the same thing when I put the overlay on, right? And that's the overlay of Tenochtitlan. That's what Tenochtitlan looked like. That's supposed to be Mexico City, of what Mexico City used to look like. So if you see it, like I said, it got streets, there's blocks laid out. So if they had the technology to do this thousands of years ago, you know what I'm saying? Thousands of years ago. Like we ain't talking about no 5 or 6, we talking about thousands of years ago. And a lot of that activity is always coming from, like, it seemed to me like it starts from Peru area and then come across and then come up through like Central America. Or if you want to say, like, all right, you would say the Peru coast or the Pacific coast, right? And then even the Pacific coast of California through the Yucatan, through what is now Florida and all the way up to Canada. Because this is where they said that this trade, what's the name, was that, right? But they say that they was African traders, which we know we don't believe that. We know they couldn't be no African traders to have a fucking trade all the way from fucking Nova Scotia through Peru, through the Yucatan, through the other parts of America, as well as the conjoining islands. That'd be impossible. Because ain't nobody like come on, man. Ain't nobody letting nobody come to their land and do all of that. Especially not no foreigners. But that's an explanation for the fact that you find Negroes in America. The explanation always have to be that they had to come from somewhere. You even hear people who have contentions with you say the same thing. Well, where they came from. Nigga, they ain't come from nowhere. They are Tonchons. They literally sprung out the fucking soil. Literally. I mean that for real. I ain't, no pun intended. Literally. So that's, that's a brief look at that right there, right? Let me see. I had set notes up here. No, we seen that already. All right, so that's, I mean, that looked nice right there. That looked like if you go to like if you go like to the Hall of Records and you go look at a map and look how a map is lined out, like in a Hall of Records at the county building or like at the Hall of Records or some shit like that. Like I know in the Hall of Records in Newark, they got big maps that's all laid out by blocks. And it looks something similar to what we're looking at today. So let me see something real quick. Let me see what y'all said in the chat. Yeah, I mean, all this shit connects. All of it connects. All of these sciences that you see in America was already here. Nobody came here and brought them here. They was already here. All of the science that we see people use today, they may have made it a little bit more modern, but in the grand scheme of things, it all started from us. We was the people who had the idea to come up with that method that was going to be something useful for us for quality of life. You know what I'm saying? As years go on, everything evolved. You know what I'm saying? Went from a rotary phone to a push button phone to a cell phone. I mean, shit, they got the hologram phones out now. Some holographic shit, like, so things are constantly evolving. You know what I'm saying? Even though we're the people that created the science, but in some cases, we kind of devolve it. And the reason why we devolve, and I'm not saying none of you guys in the chat room or no one in particular, but just as people, just as, you want to say, American Aborigines, just as people, we devolving. And how we devolving? We're devolving because, like I said, a lot of things that we sign up for is just a suggestion. It's not mandated. It's not mandatory. It's just a freaking suggestion. That's all it is. You understand? So it's like, once you pretty much understand that, and you understand that there's different paradigms, like I said earlier, right? You got the people who come in, who, come into, this so-called history, or the American Indian or Aboriginal or whatever paradigm you want to call it, right? You got people who learn directly from Native Americans, right? And you can tell them people, right? Then you got the people who learn from Europeans, which they still have some of that Native American culture, but the stories differ. They're not the same, right? Then you got us, the people who study all that shit and went further and continued to keep studying. And we see too many inconsistencies among their history. Their history is not giving the people credit for what they found, because you can't give them credit after you said the reason we took this land was because the people here was primitive. They didn't know what to do with the land. This is what we keep hearing. Now, I just showed you we had architecture here for 35,000 years. According to them, that shit might, as long as human existence, as long as humans been in existence, they've always been agriculture. They have always been agriculture. Always. According to what the other article that was about the 50,000-year-old city in North Carolina, it said what, 60 to 80,000 years Homo sapien, and that's only if you believe in that nonsense, because that's all nonsense. These people don't have the right to come here and lie about research and come up with these tales and stories, and without putting our people properly into the perspective to where we supposed to be placed in history. So, like I said, a lot of time we get these books, we read these books, and okay, you read a book, that's when it's reserving that information. Then once you study, you keep studying in that particular field, you're gonna find things that don't agree with what you read is useful, but then some of the other information is non-useful. A lot of that's just conjecture and shit that they created. All right. A lot of it is conjecture. Everybody is not able to do that stuff and line it up in its entirety. And for one thing, what we can say is this, right? If we see these cultures and we see this science, not just in one place, that tells you something. These are things that where people you can line things up, you can cross reference, you can decipher the code and put and line up information, agriculture, the science that these people had. You can line everything up when you see that. So let me see something real quick because I wasn't gonna go, but I might as well. So, all right. Since we dealing about America, let me see something. I wanted to. Y'all already know about the Seminoles, described as Negroes, but this right here. Since they keep saying that uh, um, Egyptians came to America, we have some literature that suggests otherwise, right? So the Oriental Masonic Masonry book, right, which is definitely something good to cross-reference with the other material that we find, right? So it say America, quotations, Atlantis, right? It says, and as the curtain which has hereunto concealed the prehistoric connection between the people of the ancient Egypt and America is lifted, it will be seen that the people of the eagle on the Nile descend from the original people of the eagle on this continent, which means America. The twains are one, and that the prehistoric America was the original Egypt or Eagle Land prior to to the mighty the dispensatory, sorry about that, in the days of the Peleg, when the earth was divided and the great globe itself was nearly rent asunder. I guess that's saying like torn apart, right? So that tells you right there, like it's some other people who have done some research that suggests that America is the oldest, right? There's a lot of different sources that suggest this, right? Let me see. I think I got another. I got a couple more. Let me see. All right, this one. Let me see. No, that's not. Hold up. Give me 1 second, y'all. Oh, it's in this one. That must have went past it. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Oh, here you go. All right, so you see America, the old world, first born among the continents, though much later in culture, which we know that's not true, or civilization, which we know that's not true neither, right? Then some more recent births, right? Which they say other continents, right? It's saying America so far as her physical history is concerned has been falsely denominated the New World. Hers was the first dry land lifted out of the waters. Now, like I said, I don't do no research. I'm just a person who I'm not out there doing the archaeology research. I'm using the data, or I'm using the information in which they was able to obtain from doing these studies or coming up with these so-called, like, I'm saying, all right, this is also a suggestion, right? But this is a suggestion that don't go with the original narrative, right? So, like, we have two sources right there that's saying America is the old world. We have two sources right there, right? Then we have plenty of other evidence that can show 35,000-year-old agriculture, 1,000-house cities, 50,000-year-old towns, um, pyramids, temples, you know, other remarkable things that they found throughout the Americas, and as well as the Yucatan and Central, right, South America, as well as the conjoining islands, the pyramid that's underground, underwater, that we just went through in Cuba. So we find this shit all over the fucking place. It's not just in no one area that we find in this. We find in all these ancient sciences all over the place. And it's like I said, they're not writing this stuff in the history. You have to be able to do the research, grab sources like this, and cross-reference them. Now listen, right? Look, this is something I found interesting, right? So it says hers was the first dry land lifted out the waters. Hers was the first shores washed by the ocean that enveloped all earth. Besides, it said, and while Europe was represented only by islands arising here and there above the sea, America was stretched an unbroken line of land from Nova Scotia to the far west. All right. All right. So, I mean, with them type of sources that suggesting that, as well as the evidence, right? America, quotation Atlantis, and as the curtain which has hereunto concealed the prehistoric connection between the people of ancient Egypt and of America is lifted, it will be seen that the people of the eagle on the Nile, being descended. So they descended from us. And like I said, there's too much other information that suggests this. This is just not like, no, A1, you got two. No, I've seen it. I'm just not putting it all out there. But it's people who suggest this. And like I said, a lot of people who do research, they're just automatically just write that off. Like, nah, that's some pseudo. That's all we all know. And then they use that type of the mind control. Because that's another one of the mind control. We all know. So when we say we all know, like, oh, you're going against everybody. No, I'm going against everybody who've been programmed to be docile, who can't think for themselves, who can't see the connections between a lot of this science and be able to say, well, look, either I'm under the narrative that people just came here, just did what they wanted to do, which I'm not under that narrative, because we find the limestone, we find adobe, we find metallurgy, we find bridges, we find all this shit in the roads, we find all this stuff in America already. So why wouldn't I believe that this is the old land, or this is the first land out of the waters, like the source suggested? All right, so let me see, where was I? Oh, I was in this one. Boom. So we already know the skulls. We already seen them already, right? So this was a 4-inch in height and depicts a seated Mayan with the headgear. It was discovered in a cave in west central Arkansas in the late 70s. Okay. The artifact was initially sent to the anthropology department at UCLA. There it was authenticated as a genuine. I guess a genuine copy because it stops right there. But like I said, man, this shit is all through the Americas. We see all this shit through the Americas, right? I'm still here, y'all. I'm just scrolling through something. Matter of fact, you know what? Fuck it. Let me see something real quick. So this is ancient faces in America, right? So this is one. It says in the connection with the question of Negroes in America, I should mention also the investigation conducted by a Mexican scientist, Dr. A.D. Gare, on the presence of Negro blood in one of the oldest, most secluded tribes in Mexico. Okay. See that? Now, you said Negro blood, them niggas are Negroes. They look just like nigga you see every day. Some of them at least. So then we get into, I'm gonna show you some of them terracotta joints that he was talking about, right? Now I say clearly representation in America can be identified as early, no, clearly Negroid representation in America can be identified as early as 1200 to 650 BC. It's saying at least in the terracotta and other material known at the present. All right. So let me see. It said the time would extend in the old world from the regions of Ramesses III and from and the later Libyan ruler in Tunis, Lower Egypt, to the epoch of the Egyptian or Nubian domination of Egypt, including the 25th dynasty and the Negro king Tahaka. They say will of course also include the period of Assyrians trust against the Phoenician city-states in Asia Minor. Since nobody can believe that Negroes ever trampled all the way through Siberia and crossed the Bering Strait of Alaska to arrive very much later in the warmer parts of the American continent. The only acceptable interpretation for their presence here at the above mentioned time would be the transatlantic voyage, a phenomenon that sooner or later will have to be explained. Now, this is what he's saying. And like I said, this book is old. This is not a new book. This book is definitely like from like the I think the late 70s. It might be, yeah, from the late 70s. It's called Unexpected Faces in America, right? So that's what they saying, right? So these are some of the figures that they found. These are like some of the figurines they found in Mexico. Now look, I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's something stellar. They're saying the stone stela of the Tapat Laco, Veracruz, Mexico, in the National Museum in Mexico City. Some scholars dated it around 100 AD, while other attribute it to the late classical period of 300 AD. In any case, it is about contemporary with the age of maximum Roman expansion. It says the main bearded figure holds the right arm of a half risen, I guess that's an enemy or something. He's actually holding his locks. Now you see he got locks on too, right? These are some other let me blow it up so you guys can see. You see the locks right there. Same shit we see coming all the way through, right? More images. The nose is broken off. You see that consistently among all the artifacts that they show you. Shit like this. For the ones that they wasn't able to break all the noses off, right? I mean, some of these masters, these some ugly motherfuckers, man. But I mean, they comparing them saying they Negroid. And I ain't calling our people ugly. I'm just saying these masters and shit, like, got like a kufi on, see? Now, I said the head of a Tatanak dancer from Veracruz, showing this the subtile fusion of the Asiatic and Negroid features. Say classical period, the height, whatever. All right, so this is the figurine, which they saying that had like because of the way her eyes is, but it's Negroes with slanted eyes. That shit don't mean nothing. There go some more images. This is also found in Veracruz. This is actually at the museum. This is the engraving on one of the buildings. And as you can even see in this, he got locks. His locks is just like pulled to just I guess you want to say they pulled to the front or the style he got like to the front, but these is locks. And they saying that this is a Negro. You probably can't. Y'all probably can't see that shit right here. They saying that this is a mask that's engraved into in one of the mountains, right? So they're saying the Negroid rock mask in the color plate 30 is shown in relation to the symbolic hand above the opening hand with the outward facing palm. Now, I don't know where his hand at. That shit is, I don't know. I can see the face, but I can't see the hand. Right? But they saying it is a surprisingly similarity to the symbolic hand on the Phoenician stele in Carthage from 4th and 5th century BC, and the bracelet arm of the Assyrian king in the, I ain't trying to pronounce that shit, but it's coming from Princeton, New Jersey. All right, so this is another image of what it looked like. I don't know if y'all can see that. But these are the engravings. And like when he was saying, when he was giving a depiction and saying all these figurines and these Negroid sculptures and shit that they found in Mexico, right? Besides the paintings, besides the Boma Park murals and all of this other shit that we already can tell that these is Negroes. There goes some more. Now, I don't know if this is a goddamn reptilian or what, but they also found this shit in Veracruz. Or maybe it might just be a nigga with big eyes. I don't know. Let me see what's going on. All right, let's get back into that. It's another image. This is it's a close-up front view of a monument, Negro magician from the Mayan ruins in Copan, Honduras. The sculpture of his companion on the right. All right, so I wonder how his companion looked like. This is a terracotta head with a fine polished black slip. I don't know why they added that though, but they just giving an understanding that they're saying that this is a Negro as well. As y'all can see, he's sitting on like a chair, and he also posing. I mean, he also kneeling, like he praying right here. He's definitely kneeling. He definitely like he praying. He in like a prostration. Well, he ain't prostrated yet, but that position normally leads to like the prostration position. That's interesting, right? You see that X over his head? Now he like he definitely have tassel on. He looks definitely like he has a tassel. Now let me see what the description says. It's saying Mayan sculpture from Guatemala. I guess these will be some more Negro features. Let me see. They're saying superb depiction of the racial features in the Egyptian art. I guess that this is Akhenaten white, and these are some of the images that they found in Mexico. Even though they definitely look like some fucking mongoloids or some mestizos, but anywho, And look at that right there. That's like, that actually make a dope T-shirt. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot to show y'all something else in that other book, in this book right here. All right, this right here. So this is a circular observatory in the square at Sacsayhuaman, Haman, Haman, Sacsayhuaman. I guess that's how you pronounce it. But this is a circular observatory. Right? Let me see. I think it might be a page. I mean, I'm gonna be going more into the book in American God, but I just wanted to show what it actually does. But this is what it looks like. And this is like some of the stuff they found. Like I said, all of that shit is all in the same area. Now this is how we was doing in America. All right. I don't like we already see what people was doing, where they claim they came from. And we already see the sign. Now these are just, I don't know what you want to call them, but you know, like these are just extras, like extra artifacts, extra archaeology, extra excavations, extra proof of what we was doing in America thousands of years ago. So even the whole primitive thing is should have been out the window. If motherfucker making figurines, right, and like you making figurines, you have a science, you have a math, you have everything. So let me see something real quick. Thanks in this one. That's not, hold up. I'm still with you. I'm just looking for something real quick. That might be in here. Let me see. All right, I cannot find that shit. I do not know what the hell I did with it. It might be in this other folder. All right, well, let's continue. All right, so that's another one of them images that they found. And they said this is Teotihuacan pottery head, classical Teotihuacan pottery head, to right here to the right. And they comparing it with a Nigerian. But we don't have to, I mean, you can look at it clearly. But all through this book, man, all he does is show like the comparisons and showing like shit like this. Like she got locks too. They broke the nose off. Like just like you see in a lot of these. Right. All right, so these are other images that was found in Mexico. Well, I don't know what the hell that is. Images like this right here, how they broke the fucking nose. They did the same shit in Mexico as they did over there in Egypt, or what they saying they done over there in Egypt. And like I said, like the lock culture was something that was definitely heavy from like, I mean, I'm gonna say throughout the Americas. So it's not just like how we say the Caribbeans are the only people who wore locks. Nah, that shit is something that was prevalent all through the Americas. Look how far Peru is from the Caribbean, and they was wearing locks. Pottery with the Jaguar suit on. Look, that's the Jaguar suit with you got the gloves on and the actual fucking face on his head. More Mayan ceramic. These are fucking bowls or cups. These are these are the artifacts that was found in the serpent mounds in Ohio. And this is what they said has the proto-Hebraic on it. And they said it goes back over 8,000 years. The Mayans, other images, I think those are codexes right here. Let me see y'all still rocking with me when I'm born, y'all. We still good? All right. How we doing so far, man? It's 2 hours and 25 minutes, closing in 2 hours and 30 minutes. We good? What's up? So like I said, this right here, like when you see all of the science, like I ain't even have to go into the anthropology work, like or dealing with showing that the human remains is us over. See, just from the images alone of what they finding over here. Now these some more images. Of course, they gonna make them look like they Mongols, right? But this supposed to be Tenochtitlan land. This is a new drawing. This is not how it really looked it, but this is a remix single. So when you see shit like this, you'll know exactly what it is. These are artifacts that they found in the spiral mounds, right? And actually, some church war got some of these images in his fucking book, man. That's why I don't entirely agree when people be taking shots at church war, because a lot of the stuff in his book, I can cross-reference that with other information or other material that I've seen throughout the years of studying. That's that same image again. This is it in an actual museum, and like I said, she got locks. These are locks. This is something that was prevalent among our people. Found this in the Hopewell Mound. And he got locks. Look how his head locked to the side right here. That's in Guyana. These is niggas. These are some more images that they found in spiral mounds. And that spiral image ain't nothing but the sun disk of Nibiru. This right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see. Look at this. Look at the inscription, right? It say Europe, which would probably be the first one, right? Then it says Asia, which would be the second one, right? Then it says Africa, which is the third one. Then it says America, which is her right here. Now, this is like some type of symbology drawing that they drew. This is not a real drawing, because you see she's an angel and she got wings, and you see the little Cupid figure. But in the picture, it's showing you what the American look like. First picture right here, first one in the picture, showing you the African, the Asian, and the European. And the last one is the American, which is her. You see her feathers and everything. Well, this comes out of the Roman icon book. That comes out of the Roman icon. No, I'm sorry, the Russian icons. And this is a book they found over in Russia, and they got all niggas in it. Right? Look, depicting. Why would Russians be depicting Christ as a Negro, whether you believe in him or not? You know what I'm saying? Why would they be depicting him as a Negro? Look, What that say? Brazil, right? Let's say history, natural, Brazil. That's what the people look like in Brazil. And look at the white man. What is he doing in this picture? What is he doing in this picture? It like he working for them because ain't nothing but seafood and shit coming out of it. I see a clam, a crab. I don't know what the hell that is. Look, fucking ill. A squid. It's like he pouring food out of a like a vase or some type of urn or some shit or seafood. Like he a slave or something. Look. Do you guys see this shit? Look, this is Brazil. These are the indigenous people. They don't seem like they look like they got a system the way they using him. What is this nigga doing in the picture, man? I ain't trying to be funny though, because we see white slavery and or we see white people in a lot of these pictures, these old pictures, and I can't make out what is it about. But it looks like he's working for them. Good look, that's all seafood. Like I said, that's a clam, that like a squid or some shit. Is that a squid? I don't know what the hell that is. I can tell that's a crab though. And you can see some other seafood type creatures coming out of this urn. And you can see a turtle. I don't know what the hell that is. A fucking anteater. And them little fucking what the fuck is that? That's not a that's like a little monkey or something right there, man. Look. Anywho, let's continue. Can y'all make out what was at the bottom of the? Because I definitely don't understand that, man. Yeah, it do like a hammerhead shark. Yeah, see, I was going to say that, but it looked kind of small. And you said a lemur. Yeah, it could be a lemur. You're absolutely right. I ain't know y'all can see it that good. Okay. What is your boy doing at the bottom of the page? What is he doing at the bottom of the page, man? I don't know. These people right here look like they chilling. I don't know what the hell, they gathering sticks or some sort, or they like they flirting each other. Like, yeah, dude looking at it. But this guy right here, they like they dancing in the back, like something like they about to get shit. They probably about to eat, considering what he pouring out right here. And they got some crab. I never had no hammerhead shark before, but shit, I know if you grill that motherfucker with some garlic, some white wine, some oil, some olive oil. Shit, throw some thyme up in there, man. That motherfucker. That shit might come out good, man. They about to have a grand old time at the expense of him. Yeah, what is your boy doing right there? What you say? He's gay. What's your boy doing? Can anybody tell me what this is about? All right. Shit, original intellect. Shit, back then, you know what I'm saying? Before my brother, I'm quite sure you done had some blue crab. Niggas be fucking. I'm not saying niggas eat them now, but niggas then ate blue crab before. I believe so. I don't eat crab. I don't waste my time with that shit. But Oh shit! I ain't war eagle. I see yeah, right. Yeah, and look, you gotta make some. It's decoded. We gonna decode this motherfucker. What's going on in this picture? Hmm? What's this about? All right, let's move on, man. Well, it's just an indication right here that these niggas is pump faking. They done took the Sumerian culture and pump fake, and they go to Pope with all the Sumerian symbols or the Anunnaki, because some people refer to these people as the Anunnaki, right? But he don't have that on. This is a fucking fez. That's not. That's not this. This is a goddamn fez, like the one like you see my logo. But let's continue. Matter of fact, you know what? I think I kept this one right here, this picture, because this shit look dope. I don't know where it came from, but just to see, I'm not saying like, ceremony times. I don't agree with the war bonnet period, because I know we wore feather crowns over here, but the shit looks dope. See people practicing their culture freedom. You know what I'm saying? Well, hold up. That's a cover off of a book. I forgot the name of the book though, but don't have the. But you see the Negro. Look, some more images of the Mayans and the Olmecs. Some images of American Indian in Europe. I think this is in St. Augustine. Matter of fact, it is. This what the fuck they call that fort? Damn, I forgot the name of this fort, but this is in St. Augustine. As we know, this was the great building. Well, matter of fact, it's a museum because one of the ladies or somebody from Chicago said that this building is still there. But this was part of the World's Fair Chicago. Look at that. And it got the dome on it. And it had a canal right here where they had boats where people was going down the canal. Now, this is how this shit was running prior to these people gaining access to this building. Look, this is one of our buildings that these people done tore down. Let me see something real quick. Let me see if I'm in the right folder. Matter of fact, I'm gonna rock through that. Let me see. It's a mummy they found in, I believe, Central America. I think this is an earlier mummy, but this is actually an American museum of modern day art. Is it that? No, not the MoMA, the American Museum of Modern History. This is the one that's when you first walk in, you see the Olmec. It got a fucking like a 12-foot Olmec right at the door as soon as you get in. That's the first thing I seen. And I wasn't even expecting to see it in it. But yeah, the Olmec head was like 12 feet huge. And then when you go through you know, the other rooms, because I got like a little hall and shit where you go down and they got all artifacts on the wall, and then they got other like little rooms you go in that got other artifacts. It's a dope museum if you believe what the eugenics movement has done. And look, see, they always breaking the nose. Somehow the nose always get broken off, right? It looked like he praying or something. That's the pose he looked like he in. Supe Caru complex in Peru. And you know what? Let me go back. I always like this picture right here. This picture always, the pixels is not too good, but you can see a Negro Indian clowning what is known as the British took his uniform jacket, and now he running around clowning. That's what I always got out of the picture and shit. Like these people ain't got no type of power. As a matter of fact, they look like they in like that picture I just showed you of the Brazil dude. The nigga laying down pouring out the seafood. Let me see. Hold up. This is the map of America. Well, one of the many. Grenada. Man, we almost at 3 hours, man. I gotta spin, man. You know what? Tomorrow, if I get home early, I'll run back through it. Do some. I gotta go. my trailer, my truck. We'll take one of my tires off. I got a couple things to do, man. I don't want to be out there. Peace to the gods, man. Peace to the goddesses. Peace to all our Tontons and the Aboriginals and the Indians, as well as everybody else, man. I'm about to slide up out of here, but definitely appreciate the build. That's what's up. And get prepared for American Gods Part 3 on the 20th. Tickets will be sold on the 18th, and I know AP will be promoting it, and I'm going to be promoting it as well. So with that being said, man, everybody enjoy themselves, try to relax, do something productive instead of counterproductive. And with that being said, man, peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses. I'm out.